Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadrama. Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtotara Shuddha Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtotara Shuddha Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Canto 1, Chapter 18, text number 37. Iti langita maryadam takshaka saptamehani dankshati sma kulangaram chodito me tata duham iti langita maryadam takshaka saptamehani dankshati sma kulangaram chodito me tata druham iti langita maryadam takshaka saptamehani dankshati sma kulangaram chodito me tata druham iti langita maryadam. Hey honey. Chodito me tata druham Tilangida Maryadam Takshika Saptame Hani Kshatesma Kulangaram Iti Langida Maryadam Takshika Saptame Hani Garam Chodito me tata druham Iti langita maryadam Takshika saptame hani Dankshati sma kulangaram Chodito me tata druham. Please repeat word for word. Iti, thus. Langita, surpassing. Maryadam, etiquette. Takshaka, snakebird. Saptame, on the 7th. Ahani, day. Dankshati, will bite. Sma, certainly. Kulangaram, the wretched of the dynasty. Chodita, having done. Me, my. Tata druham, enmity towards the father. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The Brahmana's son cursed the king thus. On the 7th day from today, a snake bird will bite the most wretched one of that dynasty, Maharaj Parikshit, because of his having broken the law of etiquette by insulting my father. Purport. Thus the beginning of the misuse of Brahmanical power began, and gradually the Brahmanas in the age of Kali became devoid of both Brahmanical powers and culture. The Brahmana boy considered Maharaj Parikshit to be Kulangara, or the wretched of the dynasty. But factually the Brahmana boy himself was so, because only from him did the Brahmana caste become powerless, like the snake whose poisoned teeth are broken. The snake is fearful as long as his poisoned teeth are there, otherwise he is fearful only to children. The personality of Kali conquered the Brahmana boy first and gradually the other castes. Thus the whole scientific system of the orders of society in this age has assumed the form of a vitiated caste system, which is now being uprooted by another class of men, similarly influenced by the age of Kali. One should see the root cause of the vitiation and not try to condemn the system as it is without knowledge of its scientific value. Om Jnanatimirandasya Ananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming for the Bhagavatam class this morning. So this is like one of the most crucial text of Bhagavatam, because this is where the great things happen. This is where, after being cursed, Maharaj Parikshit decides to go and read Bhagavatam and just hear Bhagavatam for next 7 days. So this is a very important verse, and there is many learnings that we can get from this verse. So just to give a little background of what's going on Bhagavatam. So Maharaj Parikshit has recently been cursed by this son of a Brahmana, who is Shringi? Is that how you call it? Shringi? So Shringi is a little boy, young boy, Brahmana's son, who is like very inexperienced, but still have the knowledge, and his curses are really very valid in this age as well. So the point is that Maharaj Parikshit, what he did is he put a garland of snake around the sage, because he did not receive him well. He did not offer him water when he was thirsty. So Maharaj Parikshit made a little mistake and it's not a big mistake, it's a little offense that he did. He put a garland of snake around the neck of the sage, as a garland. I thought that was amusing. So, but then the son of the Brahmana did not really complain anything. The Brahmana was like, when he woke up out of trance, he saw this snake, lying around him. He said, "What's that? What's it doing here? It does not belong here." So he just took it out and put it on the side and went back to his trance. But when the son of the sage found that out, he got very disturbed. The kid, the little son of the sage, Shringi, got very upset. Has anyone ever been upset before, or is it just me? Yeah? It's easy sometimes to get upset, and when you get upset, things become a little difficult, Our intelligence is not very, very ideal or where it should be. Because when we are upset and when our intelligence is covered by hate, envy, lust, greed, anger, that's when the problem starts. I was listening to this beautiful explanation by Radhanath Maharaj. He was explaining that just like, if like for example in the body, the most important is the intelligence, because intelligence is the driver, and I mean, imagine if one of your leg got hurt, right? That does not affect the rest of the body. Yes, you will be in pain, but you can still function. Your rest of body organs can function, But when intelligence is corrupted, when intelligence is hurt, nothing can function, because intelligence is controlling the whole body, And then the problem starts, because now all your done is full with rage and hate and envy and anger. And anger is a very, very destructive tool. We should remember that. Has anyone been angry before, or is it just me? Yeah? No, never been angry? All right, perfect sage. So I was reading Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna was saying that he was giving the definition of a sage of a steady mind. Does anyone remember that verse? It's chapter number 2, text number 56. Dukeshvanu vignam manaha sukheshvanu vigate spraha vita raga bhaya krodha stitidir muni rushchite. Stitidir muni rushchite, the sage of a steady mind. Who is that sage of a steady mind? Who is free from anger, envy, hate, lust, who is not too much affected when there is happiness or distress. That is the person who is a sage of a steady mind. But Shringi, he is a Brahmana, right? He's supposed to be that sage. He's supposed to be the sage of that steady mind. But what has happened? Because his father was a bit insulted, well, he thought he was insulted, and then he took it upon himself that I am going to rectify the situation, My father, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Ki Jai. My father has been insulted and disrespected by this king, Maharaj Parikshit. Who is this guy to insult a Brahmana? He has no right to insult a Brahmana. That's what Shringi is thinking in his head, And he's contemplating, I am going to take it upon myself to punish this man, because Krishna is not here anymore. Krishna has gone, There's a very beautiful, very important actually point that we should remember in this translation, which says that the laws of etiquette by insulting my father. My father. That's the point of emphasis, because this tells us that Shringi is in a bodily platform of life, because he's thinking my father, In Bhagavad Gita, when it starts, Dhritarashtra is also in the same situation. He's thinking about my son, my son. What is the Sanskrit word for the word that he uses in Bhagavad Gita? Mamaka. Yeah. My son, Because when you think about my family, myself, my son, my brother, my sister, my mother, that's when problem starts to come. Because that's when you get caught in the bodily identification of life. And then this intelligence about the spirit soul is gone, because then you're at the basics. The basics of Bhagavad Gita is to explain people that we are not the body, we are the soul, As soon as you start relating to he's my father or my brother or my son, that's when problem comes, because now you are too caught up in the bodily identification of life. I was reading this past time because there's many things we can learn from this concept, This is the first one that I caught my attention, that the first thing we should realize is that we're not the body, we're the spirit soul. And this Brahmana, who's supposed to know all that, he forgot the basic essence of Bhagavad Gita. So when one gets caught up in the bodily identification of life, then, problem starts to come. Then when the things really go down, And that's when he realized that it is my duty to curse this Maharaj Parikshit, It's not like, I was thinking this point as well, it's not like that Shringi did not know who Maharaj Parikshit is, He's not cursing any random guy or any random person. He's cursing a pure devotee of the Lord. And he knows that, Of course, Shringi knows that Maharaj Parikshit is the ruler, he's the king, he's the emperor of that place. And he is a pure devotee of the Lord. And everyone knows that, right? So like, for example, we know Lord Ramachandra was so loved by his king, by his praja, because everyone knew he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's like Krishna himself. He's like Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Lord. But still, Shringi, when one get too caught up in the bodily identification of life, we just forget, what's right, what's wrong. Nothing is there. Now all we know is that he cursed my father, That's the only thing that's bothering him. He put a garland of snake around my father's neck. And that's it. Everything else is gone, I was thinking about this point that, sometimes we do good, for other people. We constantly do good things, But if you do one bad thing, the person only thinks about that bad thing, Those good things are gone forever in your head, You can do a million good things, But one bad thing, that's it. That's when the person just catches your neck, That's it. How could you do this to me, I don't deserve that, And that's what our mind keeps meditating upon, is the bad and the negative aspect of life. So this is the whole point that comes to my head when I read this purport, that Prabhupada is saying that Shri Radha Gopinath Ki Jai. This is a very interesting point that, when one should be tolerant and one should be very understanding, especially when it comes to devotee association, one should not act irresponsibly, Like Shringi right now is acting very irresponsibly because he has thought that it is my duty to curse this king, who is supposed to be the protector of the whole praja, And I have no right to curse this king, but he's not thinking that. He's thinking that he's done something terrible, and he deserves to pay, He should pay for that action that he has done. So an intelligent person, a Brahmana, does not think like that. A Brahmana thinks that, okay, something has happened, I need to be very tolerant. A Brahmana is very pakka, very careful with the words he chooses, Because as Raja Prabhu was saying yesterday, Rajanath Prabhu was saying yesterday, that at those times, the words were very powerful, The words had the potency. Because we all know that words have the power to alter minds, They can affect people. Like we can see Hitler, for example, in Kali Yuga. He was a very powerful speaker. He had the potential to change people's mind and make them, even though it wasn't the negative cause, We hear so many terrorists, like how terrorists are being brainwashed by thinking that we are not getting this, and these people are using these words in a very negative way to cultivate people's mind in a negative consciousness. So words are very powerful, even today's time, words. But that time, words were even more meaningful. Even they just not spill out words for any reason, They have been thought through. People have thought what I need to say, and they were very careful with what kind of words to be used. So sometimes, like in today's time, even among the devotees, sometimes we casually joke around. Sometimes we say things we may not mean, or it may hurt a person that we should not say. So I was listening to Radhanath Maharaj, and he was saying that a devotee should be very, very responsible. He should not just say anything to another person, or anyone actually, not just devotees, anyone. A devotee should be very tolerant and very humble. The word he uses is that, he said that, where's the word? I wrote that word that he used. I don't remember. Well, never mind. So, he said that a devotee should not be very insensitive and insensible, with using the words he chooses. He should be very conscious. He should be very cautious and very aware of the situation. Even if he had made mistake, because, we are humans. This is one of the 4 defects we get, is that we will make mistakes. And even if a devotee had made a mistake, just like Maharaj Parikshit made a little mistake, because he was in a situation where he wasn't just, he just thought, I'm just going to put this garland of snake around. It's a very tiny mistake. It's not a very big offense, So, and he make mistake, we all make mistakes. So, but that doesn't mean a devotee or a sensible devotee of the Lord goes around cursing people. Now, if we look at Bhagavatam, there's whole instances of devotees being cursed. You can take any chapter and you'll see devotees are being cursed around. Jai Vijay got cursed. Pure devotees of the Lord. And many other devotees got cursed. Hanuman even got cursed, that he'll forget his power. So curses are always there, Every devotee is being cursed. But the main point, and that's another take-home message from this purport, that when the curse comes, a devotee does not complain. A devotee should not just go around, I am being cursed, I need to rectify that. No. The devotee said, this is the will of the Lord, I have been cursed. Because Krishna gives all protection to his devotees, and he will not let any ordinary person just curse. If the curse has come, the devotee should not care, because Krishna will take care, Because if Krishna wants you to die, nothing can protect you. Or if Krishna wants you dead, or if Krishna wants you alive, nothing can kill you. So we should remember, a devotee knows that. So a devotee is already surrendered, always surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, And a devotee uses this curse as a boon, as an advantage to make progress in the spiritual life. Just like Maharaj Parikshit, he was cursed. He got cursed by this insensitive Brahmana. And then he uses this opportunity to make advancement in spiritual life. And then he spends the rest of his time, whatever he has left, 7 days, in hearing Bhagavad Katha. Because that's what a devotee sees. He sees opportunity. Even Prabhupada, I was reading this verse where Prabhupada says that, Narada Muni was also cursed by Daksha, that he cannot stay at one place, he has to keep moving. And Narada Muni saw it as an advantage. He saw, oh wow, perfect. Now I can go around preaching the glories of the Lord from world to world, from one place to another. And Prabhupada was quoting that. Prabhupada says that, I have also been cursed. Prabhupada said that. He said, I have also been cursed by the parents of my devotees. They have cursed me. But I am still moving around. That's my duty as a sannyasi. I have to travel around. This is an advantage. So every devotee, even if they have been cursed, they only see opportunity in how to make advancement in spiritual life. These curses or no curses should not stop the goal of a devotee, which is to spread the glories of the Lord, I was actually reading when Prabhupada was saying this point that no matter what, but preaching should go on, ISKCON is a Hare Krishna movement, is a preaching movement, At no point, the most pleasing to Prabhupada is the book distributors. And this is a very beautiful point that I was reading yesterday that Prabhupada mentions. I'll share it with you guys. So it's in, Prabhupada writes this purport in 10th canto, 2nd chapter, text number 37. And the last paragraph of this verse is very powerful. It says, the word kriyasu means by manual labor or by work is important in this verse. One should engage in practical service to the Lord. In our Krishna consciousness movement, all our activities are concentrated upon distributing Krishna literature. This is very important. One may approach any person and induce him to read Krishna literature so that in the future he also may become a devotee. Such activities are recommended in this verse. Kriyasu yas tva charnaravindoya Such activities will always remain the devotees of the. Sorry, this is a very beautiful line actually. Such activities will always remind the devotees of the Lord's lotus feet. By fully concentrating on distributing books for Krishna, one is fully absorbed in Krishna. This is samadhi. It's a very powerful line. Samadhi is the highest platform. Highest transcendental spiritual platform. And Prabhupada is saying by distributing books, a person is engaged in samadhi. You see how simple that is, to become in samadhi. So I was just wondering if we all can repeat this line again, It'd be very, very efficient for all of us. So let's just repeat, yeah. By fully concentrating on distributing books for Krishna, one is fully absorbed in Krishna. This is samadhi. So there we go. Now we all know a shortcut to get in samadhi, which is the highest platform. But one should again remember, distributing books is not for our own pleasure. It's for the pleasure of the Lord and pleasure of the Guru. Because once the Guru is pleased, Krishna will be pleased automatically. So all our engagements and all our energy should be engaged in pleasing the Guru, Sometimes we may go on book distribution and we may not be very enthused, Motivation may be down. But that doesn't mean the service stops. Because motivation may or may not be there at times. But the service should keep going on, and we should try and do it with full enthusiasm as much as possible. So one should remember. And where does enthusiasm comes from? How should a devotee always be enthusiastic with the service? Where does it come? It comes with the association with enthusiastic people. I often make this point that if you want to be a billionaire, you should spend time with a billionaire. That's a material, proven fact, right? If you want to be a millionaire, you should spend time with millionaires. If you want to be a billionaire, you should spend time with billionaires. If you want to be a drug dealer, you should spend time with drug dealers. So, because the association is very crucial. If you want to become an enthusiastic devotee, you should surround yourself with enthusiastic devotees who are truly engaged in the service of the Lord, who have taken this mission to spread the mission as their life and soul to please Prabhupada. So we should remember that. Because sadhu sangha sarva shastra koy, lava matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy. Just a little amount of association with the pure devotee can elevate one from all the miseries of life and take you to the highest platform. So one should be very, very careful who we associate with, If you associate with negative people, you will be surrounded with negative energy, So we should try and focus on engaging ourselves with the positive influence people who can have an effect on our life, Because just by a little association of Prabhupada, there were so many devotees made at that time, And now how many devotees are there, So we should remember that. We should try to cultivate and improve our own consciousness first so the other people can feel it, Like I often give this example of book distribution. When I go on book distribution, sometimes, people, when I am feeling like my chanting was good in the morning, everything was perfectly done, I did my sadhana properly, and I go on book distribution, that people automatically come to me and ask for books, which doesn't really happen on book distribution. And when my sadhana is a bit weak and lazy and all that stuff, when I go on books, even if I stop someone and I want him to take books, he said, I will take that book, but not from you, So this can also happen. So we should remember that our sadhana, mind faces the index of mind, right? That's what we hear. Faces the index of mind, because what is in your mind, it can be on your face. So if you're always transcendentally thinking of Krishna, always engaged in thinking of the service to Krishna, then that will be on your face. And when the devotee can see that, other devotees can also see that, You can feel it in your heart that I'm spiritually engaged, or a little error of material consciousness can bring a person down. So this purport is a very nicely explained, and Prabhupada says that over here, that thus the beginning of the misuse of Brahmanical power began. So this was the beginning of where, things, the Brahmanas went down. They just lost their potency, and they just lost trust. Because a Brahmana is supposed to guide the society. A Brahmana is supposed to be the head, the mind, the brains of the society. But if there is no brain, what happened? Has anyone seen a person without a brain before? No? Yeah, because Radhanath Maharaj was explaining this point that sometimes, you see people who become very fanatic, they're totally crazy. What's the word? They're like insane. That's what he calls the word, insane. Has anyone seen insane people before? Or is it just me? Yeah, sometimes I act like insane. So, yeah, when a person loses their mind, uses their brain, the person becomes insane, and they started doing things that destructs the society or destructs anything else, So, without a brain or without intelligence, a person is very confused. He's totally lost. He will do things that may or may not be in his or her control. So this is a very important message that we should learn, that the Brahmanas are supposed to be the guide. They're supposed to guide the society to the right direction, And that is probably why the first people created were in the forms of rishis and munis, Angira, Maitreya, Narada. All these people were supposed to show the path. They were supposed to enlighten people's direction, so they can advance in Krishna consciousness and they can come back home to their real platform. So we should remember that. So Brahmana, Prabhupada says that this point, Brahmanas, the Kali went inside the head of the Brahmanas, The Kali, just a little error, and Kali just needs a little tiny space, The age of Kali Yuga is like so degraded that just a little opening, and that Kali sees, and that's it, then you're down, you're gone, for a long time. We know this instance from Vashishta Muni. Was Vashishta Muni, or what was the other one? Vishwamitra? Was it Vishwamitra or Vashishta? Vishwamitra. Yeah, was it Vishwamitra or Vashishta? Vishwamitra. Yeah. That was Vishwamitra, yeah. So Vishwamitra was in trance, he was trying to meditate on the Lord and trying to elevate himself to a Brahman platform. But Indra did not like that, Indra sent Menaka to disrupt his yagya, his tapasya. So Menaka comes and, little error, and there you go, Vishwamitra with one eye open. He just wanted to see, enjoy the senses, and now he's gone. What did he do for like 100 years or something? 100 years he was out, He was like, now back to bodily platform of life, engaged in my senses, my family, my missus, my partner, my kids. And after 100 years he realized, all right, I have lost the track of my life. I need to go back where I was before. So he goes back doing tapasya. So Kali needs just a little space to get inside your head. And once it's there, that's it. That's the end of story for you, So one should be very, very careful. Our sadhana should be so strong that even if Kali is there, we are not affected, Because sadhana is the base of everything. One day, Prabhupada says that devotees, well, this is a pastime where devotees were so much engaged in doing devotional service of printing books, that devotees were so engaged in printing books that they forgot. They were not even having time to chant their rounds properly, So Prabhupada said, just close the whole printing press. I don't need any books, No printing, no books. That's okay. If devotees are compromising their sadhana to do printing, I don't want any books. Because the first most crucial thing is sadhana. Everything else comes last, You can't do service anywhere unless you have sadhana properly done. So, has anyone ever had that experience before? Or is it just me? We had weak sadhana, and then services like just, you don't feel that consciousness in that service, You feel like, why am I doing this? Why am I cleaning temple all day, I'm not even getting paid. What's the point of doing it? That's only the reason of weak sadhana. Because when the sadhana is strong, you know the goal. You know the purpose of doing that service. So we should have a very, very positive energy inside us, and we should always have a strong sadhana. So it's recommended for everyone, please chant 16 rounds minimum daily. without fail. If you do it in the morning, that's the best. If you also follow the 4 regulated principles that are given to us, they're very important. So just try to don't let your mind get distracted. Otherwise, things will not be very easy. So it's a hard society that we live in, especially for book distributors, because we are always engaged in speaking with this negative consciousness from other people. We take so much that, yeah, that's true. Like if you have been out in book distribution, you see so many crazy people that come and they just want to speak to you because they have nobody to share anything with. Like once I saw this lady and she just looked at me, and then she started just spilling out her personal secrets, like she's probably never spoken to anyone before. And I was surprised. Why is she doing that? Like, how is she doing that? She doesn't even know me. I'm just a random person on the street. How can she say all that stuff to me? It's only because she looked at my face and she saw something special. She saw that I can trust this person. This person may help me with my problems in life. So we're always surrounded by people like that in book distribution as well. There's a lot of negative, toxic consciousness that we take on. So we should always remember that sadhana is purifying our own consciousness constantly. It's chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is purifying our own consciousness. It's helping us cleanse so we can go back and do the same service again. It's like, just like a plate. If a plate is dirty, no one would enjoy taking prasad on that plate, right? Has anyone taken prasad on a dirty plate? Yeah. So exactly. So if a plate is dirty, you would not take prasad on that plate because the plate is muchi. So if your consciousness is toxic, you will not relish the service. You will never feel the energy or the motivation to keep doing that service. So it's a very important point. And there's another beautiful point that Prabhupada makes in this purport, that one should have the faith in the king, So Shringi lost the faith in the king. Krishna, because that's the goal, right? A king is the father of the nation, So if you lose the faith in the king, the problem comes. That's it. Just like, for example, Lord Ramachandra was such a powerful king because everyone trusted him. So we just trying to paint this picture, right? So a woman that you love the most, right? For Lord Ramachandra, Radharani or Sita Mata, he loves dearly from his heart. He spends so much time, so much energy going fighting a battle like, down south in Sri Lanka. He fought a big battle to get her back and then came back. And just a random person in your society or your praja thinks that, who has he brought? She has been away for such a long time. And what did Lord Ramachandra do? He could have said, this is my wife. I love her more dearly than anyone else in the world, And I just fought I fought like for so long, I just fought a big battle for her, That's the showcase of love, I love her so much. But what did he do? He let her go, because that's the duty of the king. He is a good king, A person who puts the praja before his own personal self. So this is a very beautiful point, that a good praja is someone who has the faith in the king, And the home take message for that is we should always trust our leadership, In ISKCON we have many leaders. We should trust the leadership and guidance of our GBC or our senior devotees or people who are in authority. Because if we start losing faith in the leadership, then our own motivation will start to go down. Because then we think that this leader is not qualified to be here. And then we will start taking it upon ourselves. Oh, maybe leader is not qualified to be the leader, so maybe I should act like a leader, And maybe I should start doing things that the leader should do. And the other person will start thinking like that. Then the next person will start thinking like that. Then what happens when everyone is trying to become a leader? There's only battles, There's only quarrels amongst the devotees, and we don't want that. So just this is a point that I was thinking this morning, actually, like how, a little quarrels can come among devotees. And the best way is to look past that, go past that phase and focus only on the positive side of a devotee. Because we have no right to judge another devotee, right? We should not judge another devotee, because this is self-perception, or this is the mind's big problem, We try to judge. our mind is constantly engaged in telling us that I am a good boy. Whatever I do is good. Everyone else is bad. I am doing the right thing, and I am a good boy. Has anyone ever had that experience, or is it just me? Yeah. So our mind can always say that I am a good boy. I am doing it the best interest of the Lord. And then we start judging other people, start judging the actions of other devotees, and that's we all know what happens after that. Our mind and senses are bewildered. Then we have quarrels with devotees, and which is not a very good thing to have. So we should remember not to judge other devotees and their actions. Only Krishna can judge. In the Bible also it says that those who judge shall be judged, by the Supreme Lord. So only Krishna can judge. And when Krishna sees you judge another devotee and you blaspheme in your mind another devotee, Krishna may not like that. So Krishna will give you a good hiding. That's the word they use in New Zealand for a punishment. If you want to get punished, you get a good hiding. Good beating. From Krishna will take care of you. That's what it says. So we should remember not to try and judge. So it's almost time, and I'll probably stop there. Is there any questions or comments or corrections? Now is the time to speak. All right. Kantrad Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari